With the dawn of the internet, a new era of communication began. You can now befriend someone on the other side of the planet from the comfort of your home. Naturally, communities centered around niche interests started to form online, but they were very hard to find unless you actively seek them out. But as the internet slowly became just 5 different websites for everything, these niche communities started sharing spaces with outsiders. And those outsiders can now see into a world that they never knew existed. This phenomenon can be seen on the worst social media platform, Facebook. You know, the one that's ran by the dude who used to look like a lizard and now he looks like a quirked up white boy?
Sweet baby Ray's.
And when I say Facebook, I mean mainly Facebook groups. For those of you who don't know what a Facebook group is, you can kind of think of it like a subreddit, but for your uncle who doesn't know how to take a proper selfie. It's not a giant group chat, it's more like a club that you can join and make posts to. And people have come up with some topics for Facebook groups that would make a normal person raise their eyebrow. So today we're going to explore a couple of these groups and look at what type of drama is going on and who is using them. And I did not mean to do this, but the drama gets crazier the further along we get. The last drama I could not believe was real. What's poppin', Fortnite gamers? It's your boy Brandon Abstrxct. Anyways, the main thing that made me want to make this video is when I saw this post. Looking for Fortnite GF to drink and smoke with on the game when I'm not at work. 23 years old, 0 build. But the thing that caught my eye was that the post was made in a group called Fortnite Stoner Flirts 21+. And I think my mind went into denial upon reading this because I couldn't believe that a group like that actually existed. But upon my research, I was forced to accept the fact that it is really real. So real that the first group we're going to talk about in this video is...
We got a #1 victory royale. Yeah, Fortnite, we about to get down. 10 kills.
So when researching this group, I was surprised to find out that this isn't the only one that exists. There are so many clones to fulfill this need for some reason. And seeing all these groups just had my mind racing. Like, how does one end up in a group like this? Have dating apps failed so bad that people are forced to use grassroots Facebook dating groups now? Also, how do relationships work when Fortnite is a major part of it? Is it cheating if someone runs duos with another person while their partner's offline? How does polyamory work? Does the cool play squads together? Or does a person have a partner for each game mode?
Yo, let's all swing from this cock.
Anyways, onto the actual stuff that happens in this group. A typical post is someone sharing a picture of themselves, their epic ID, and just talking about who they are and what they're looking for. You know, what you would expect from a dating/flirting group. But while 99% of this group is for dating, there are people using it for other things. Like this post from a woman trying to find friends for her fiance to play Fortnite with who are also 420 friendly. Why are you trying to find your fiance Fortnite friends in a group centered around dating? Can we have a safe space anymore? Anyways, because this is the internet and a group of stoner Fortnite players, only women really get attention on their posts while the men are doing something. Take for example Holly here. She's an attractive alternative girl, so she's getting a ton of likes and comments of people trying to duo with her. And now let's take a look at Clayton, a single father looking for some goth baddies, even though he's heard they don't exist. Most of the comments on this post are just dragging the guy for existing. My favorite being a dude who said, I have a goth baddie right here and it's just a job application. But in this post is where we get our first taste of typical drama in this group.
Killer Keemstar.
So this guy named Martin replies to Clayton's post with just a zoomed in picture of his face. This is the internet way of saying that someone's ugly if you don't know. Clayton handles it like an adult and just asks, did I do something to offend you? But then a third guy named Isaiah joins in and posts a picture of what Martin looks like. And it turns out that Martin and Clayton look almost exactly alike. But that's not even the end of it. So Martin, upon realizing that he's been exposed, posts a picture of Isaiah saying that he looks like a prime leader of the LGBTQ without any warning. And can I say, calling someone gay is such a middle school insult. I expected a bit more maturity from Fortnite Stoner Flirts. Especially the 21+ version. Anyways, Isaiah drags this man because he can't do anything but call him gay. And the whole thing comes to an end when Martin, out of nowhere, just says, why do you believe it mutilating children? I would give someone 2,000 V-Bucks if they could figure out how we went from this post to this comment with no context. Oh, and by the way, while all this is going on in the comments, Holly, the original alternative chick I talked about, replies to this post. And her and Clayton exchange epic IDs. And if this comment section is not a metaphor for real life, I don't know what is.
Why isn't this working?
Anyways, before we get into the key problem with this group, let's take a look at a couple more posts and interactions. And all I gotta say is, fellas, you need to step it up. You guys are in bronze and I need you in platinum. Like, take this guy's post right here. I don't think I need to explain this one.
Why?
This next one got me for multiple reasons, and maybe you'll see why. Me and my 3 friends looking to start playing Fortnite. Anyone show us the ropes? All right, first off, those tongue emojis make me feel violated. 2, if you're having bad luck with dating, I don't think that getting into Fortnite's gonna help. You gotta start reading feminist literature like Fruits Baskets or Oron High School Host Club. And finally, you have 4 people, which is a full squad in Fortnite. So no woman could join even if they wanted to. They've already cock-blocked themselves. All right, I could talk about the men's post for hours, but what really matters here is the women's post. And not because of the post themselves, but the comments left by potential suitors. There are some very funny ones, like this woman who posted a picture of herself and a guy just replied with, "Nice rack." But most of them are just kind of sad, negative riz. Like, look at this post from Luna. She's just a stoner looking for her duo. But then you get to the comments and it's just, have you found your stoner duo yet? I'd like to give it a shot, haha. I'm super chill and have fun. I love fit and tattoos. I love the fit in tattoos. I don't think there will ever be a time where shooting your shot on a public platform is not cringe, especially in a sea of people trying to do the same thing. But through this comment section, I was able to confirm what I expected would be happening in this group. Don't add or try to play with her. She's a fake and will get upset if you can't give her money. She did it to my homie. Yeah, buddy, sure, your homie got scammed. Your same homie who's in the Fortnite Stoner Flirts 21 Plus Facebook group. Okay. But for real, the first thing I thought about when I heard about this group was people pretending to be attractive women to get free shit in the game. Because before dropshipping, pretending to be a woman in a video game to get rare gear was the side hustle of teenage boys. And this group gives you direct access to people who are probably most vulnerable to fall for this type of scam. Like, if you look through the comments, there's a lot of women accounts unrelated to the original post asking guys to DM with them. And if you look at any of these accounts, you can tell that they're not real. Like, look at Mary here just trying to strike up a chat with John. Let's take a look at her profile and it looks like her profile name is Jake. That doesn't seem right. While there are no posts of people calling out scammers, probably because it's embarrassing to admit you fell for it, you can see people in the comments accuse other people of being scammers because they're so on edge about it. But that's about it for Fortnite Stoner Flirts. It's a very niche group of people with a good amount of cringe and most likely an equally good amount of scamming going on. But that doesn't mean it doesn't work because Clayton got the goth baddie that he wanted. Aww. But now we're gonna look at a drama that was actually aired out for the whole group to see.
I feel like fucking Dumbledore. I feel like Dumbledore.
So this group probably needs a bit more context to understand why it exists, so let me break it down real fast. Wizard 101 is an MMORPG released back in 2008. If you were a kid at the time, you literally could not escape the ad campaign for this game. While it was mainly advertised to kids, anyone can really get enjoyment out of it. And I recently picked it back up using the same account that I used as a kid, aka Chris Angel 117. It was 2008. If you ever want a recession indicator, just look at the times I pick back up Wizard 101. So while it is probably mainly adults playing the game right now, this group serves as a way of adults to connect with other adults to play with. And I'm guessing that Facebook started showing me this group because I was looking up guides on Google and I'm also an adult. Also, real fast, why have we just accepted the fact that we're being tracked at all times on the internet? Like, I remember this trend of people talking into their partner's phones about babies so they would see ads for baby stuff. That is not cute. That is dystopian. You know what else is dystopian? This fucking Facebook group. I have only been aware of its existence for a while, but the amount of stupid drama I've seen is crazy. There's one big one I want to talk about, but let's talk about some smaller ones first. All right. So the game recently released on Xbox, which is a big deal because it's only been on PC since launch. So there's been an influx of people joining the group to ask questions about the Xbox version. And there are so many posts of people complaining about how the Xbox players are just annoying. This in a group that already has a problem with people DMing other people just to harass them. Once again, this is a group for what is objectively a kid's game. But there's also just some crazy ass posts like this guy talking about how he's seen Pizzagate symbolism in the game.
I love kids.
Anyways, the last small drama that we need to talk about before we can get into the big one is people's general disdain for the moderators. As far as I can tell, it's mainly one older lady named Diane who runs the group. And people complain about how she moderates too much or not enough. Diane seems to run the group with an iron fist though, because she'll make a monthly post about all the new people who joined. And in the comments of one of them, she said that she expects 5K likes because there's 15,000 people in the group. I bet most people didn't know that they were signing away their life to serve the Wizard 101 adult community when they hit the join button. Hoorah! Anyways, my personal beef with Diane is that after I got all my notes together for this segment, she went back and nuked every post related to the drama. I do have enough evidence through like cached images on Google to explain the story to you though. There are just some screenshots that I wish I had. Anyways, on to the big drama. And it all starts with a post made a couple weeks ago. It's just a picture of a guy smoking a J with the caption "Stoner Checkpoint." Also, I promise I did not plan to have multiple stoner dramas in this video. I guess that's just Facebook group's main clientele. Anyways, this post gets a lot of love with people in the comments being like, "Oh yes, this is so me," and "Oh yeah, I love to smoke the devil's lettuce." Is it obvious that I don't really smoke that much?
Devil's lettuce.
But anyways, it seemed like a funny one-off post because no one expected someone to post a picture of them smoking with that caption, or for it to get that much love. But eventually there is so much traffic on this post, a couple people decide that they should make a Wizards 101 stoner group. And so the Smokus Pocus Discord is born. And for a couple days we really don't hear anything else, so we can assume that everything's going good. That is until one day there are a shit ton of posts of people complaining about how they got banned from the Discord. And this is where I wish I had screenshots, but you're just gonna have to believe me because I cannot make this up. So there's all these posts of people calling this guy a dictator for banning them. And as they're all discussing how they got banned, they start to realize what was happening. Apparently, everyone that got banned was a dude, and it was around the time that they would talk to any of the women in the Discord. Which means the guy who made the server was banning anyone he saw as a threat to him getting E-Wazussy. Now, important thing to note, I don't know if the guy from the original stoner post is the guy who made the Discord, so I don't put any blame on him. But after all this, the people who got banned from Smokus Pocus still want a Discord for stoners. So they make their own Discord, which they just call the Better Stoner Discord. So now there is an ongoing war in this Facebook group between these two Discord servers, and people are getting pissed that it's spamming their feeds. But eventually Diane comes in and puts her foot down and just bans everyone related to the drama. And she makes a post that just says, "If you post a Discord link and invite in the regular group, I will take it down." One guy tests her and say that people post Discord links all the time, and she replies with one of the hardest things I've ever heard. "If I see them, they get taken down. If someone reports it, gets taken down. Show me Discord link and my Wizard 101 group link. See how fast gets taken down." Except the one in featured. So the moral of this whole story is not to fuck with Diane, cause she'll absolutely ban your ass. But yeah, this group is just pretty crazy. There is so much stupid drama for adults playing a children's game that it's wild. But the drama in this group doesn't even compare to the drama in the next group we're gonna talk about. Now, it might be easy to assume what we're going to talk about based on the group name Single, Furry, and Looking for Love, but I promise you whatever you're thinking is wrong because no one can make up this insanity. This drama has very little to do with being single, furry, or looking for love. So I found this group while doing research on another group called Minecraft for Adults, banned from Minecraft for Adults. You would think there'd be more drama in that group, but there is surprisingly none. Anyways, while looking into that group, this one got recommended to me. And I knew I found something special when I opened the group, and the first post I saw was an essay detailing all the good that Donald Trump has done so far. And I will explain the full story about how we got to that post, but first we got to meet our two main characters of this story. Also, by main characters, I mean two of the most insufferable people I've ever seen online. And they are Diego and Warren. Let's start with Diego because he's a bit easier to explain. When Diego first joined the group, he was a normal ass guy. His first post in the group was him asking, "How deep do you go?" You know how any normal person would introduce themselves to a group. When someone replied with "gender fluid balls deep," Diego was quick to push back on the notion that he'd be interested in a gender fluid person. To reinforce his sexuality, he then made a post that just said, "I need a girlfriend." And someone replies with their own struggles with dating, saying that they're almost 50 years old and haven't been on a date with someone in over 16 years. And Diego comforts this person by saying, "By the time you meet a girl, you'll be too flaccid and too impotent to make a baby anyways." So as we can tell, Diego is a very caring person who can connect with people. But don't get it confused, Diego is still freaky. We can see that when he posts, "Who here has a filthy mind?" And the only reply is some guy asking why. Now moving on to our other main character, Warren. And instead of trying to tell a story explaining who he is, I think we can just look at his manifesto, the no BS policy, in which he lays out how people need to interact with him on the internet. Obviously, this is really long, so I'm just going to give you the bullet points. One thing made very clear throughout this manifesto is that Warren is better than you and you cannot debate him on that. And if you even consider fucking with Warren, you only have 3 warnings until he unleashes his wrath on you. Once you used up all your warnings, Warren will persecute you to the highest extent by reporting reporting you to Facebook, writing in full detail what you did and then blocking you. Now, not to shit on this completely, there is a section where he talks about how he won't tolerate any sexual stuff towards him without his consent, which is a very basic human right. But the big thing not to fuck with him on listed in this manifesto is harassing AI art. Warren is a firm believer in AI art as a valid art form and will not tolerate any disrespect towards it. Most of Warren's recent posts in the group are him writing essays about people he's interacted with online who don't approve of AI art, calling them stupid and ignorant with a collection of screenshots of their interactions, and bragging how he reported them to Facebook and blocked them. And it is in one of these posts where Diego and Warren would first cross paths. In the post, Warren mentions that he knows he'll get hate for being a supporter of AI art, so he lists the reasons why he believes AI art is valid. Once again, going to give you an outline because it's way too long. One is that some people are poor and can't afford art supplies or commissions. Two is that people who do commissions are most likely scammers, so he doesn't trust them. Three is mental disorders like ADHD prevent him from focusing for a long time, so it'd be impossible for him to get good at real art. And finally, he just doesn't really give a fuck about anyone else's opinion. Now, I could dunk on these points, especially as someone who has ADHD and got an engineering degree while undiagnosed. And you can trust that I have an engineering degree because I mentioned it as soon as it became relevant. But I don't need to do that because Diego is going to do it for me. None of the reasons you gave for using AI excuse the fact that AI image generating is art theft. Also, none of the reasons you gave, not even ADHD, would prevent you from being able to pick up a pencil or stylus, drawing or writing music, you know, like a real artist would. Diego then goes even further in another comment. Use AI to creatively express myself? The thing about that is AI art is not creative. All you do is type shit into a prompt and the AI will mix up a bunch of real art from real artists into an image that doesn't look anything like art. Obviously, we know Warren's no BS policy, so he doesn't take this sitting down. So Warren replies essentially calling Diego brain dead for not liking AI art, and Diego just asks him what he does for work. Warren then explains to Diego that he doesn't work because he lives with his mom who saved up enough and is now on disability due to physical limitations, and how he dislikes Trump for making the cost of living higher through tariffs. But the more important thing to him than having a job is eradicating anyone online who harasses him. And with all that, Diego just replies, I see. You're a liberal who leeches off your parents and likes to blame Trump for shit. So you couldn't possibly understand what it would be like to be a person who works for a living and how it would be to lose that job to AI. And this interaction pisses off Diego so much that he writes that essay about all the good that Donald Trump has done so far, as well as make even more political posts to the group. And this makes Warren start making posts about how he hates Donald Trump and calling Diego brain dead. And in the middle of it all, there are some people still trying to use the group for its actual purpose. So all in all, this is a tale about two terminally online people who can't handle disagreement ruining a group for everyone. And that drama was so crazy that I think I'm gonna call it here. So what did we learn today? There's a lot of weirdos in Facebook groups, and it is a good example of how a few can ruin the whole. Because for the couple of problematic people, there are relatively normal people just trying to engage with a community. And speaking of community, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe if you liked the video. Also, this will be coming out a couple days before or after my birthday, so you better subscribe. Anyways, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!
Take me to your Xbox to play Fortnite today. You can check me, but no.